Let me ask you something. How do you align politically?
Well, you know what? I deal a lot with social media, and I have a lot of people that come from, the right and the left. So I always say this. I always say this. I don't support the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. I just support parties.
I'm sexy and I know it.
I'm with that. We should have more parties. Stop screaming at each other, folks. Hey guys, my name is Salim Juma with the Colored Conservatives. Today we are out here in beautiful Seattle. As you can see, it's raining again, as usual. Just our luck. When we show up, sky starts crying. Shocking, truly. Anyway, so today we're going to be discussing the viral meme craze out of Winchester, Massachusetts. There were a number of flyers that were posted around town that said, "Islam is right about women."
People in Winchester are angry over the handmade signs taped up around town. The signs, as you can see, read, "Islam is right about women."
The people of Winchester, diverse and engaged. Then these flyers appear around town, taped to the streetlights, suggesting that women are subjugated by the Muslim faith.
I find the sign disturbing, and I hope it's just a prank that someone didn't think through.
There weren't a lot of them, 8, maybe 10, but placed in the town center where passersby would take notice, and they did.
Personally, I don't agree with that. Second-class citizen, human rights, I believe in human rights.
The words could be interpreted in several ways, but the police say whatever the meaning, it's protected speech.
It's non-threatening. It was basically one statement, and right now it's the only reason we took them down is because they're on town property.
But if the intent was to shock people, it may have worked.
If the intention was that the tenets of Sharia law and what those say about women are right, then I disagree.
So we're going to be talking to people about how Islam and women's rights kind of coincide, if they work together, and what they think. I mean, who did this? Who did the flyering? Was it Muslims that are tired of societal degeneracy? Was it the alt-right trying to frame them? Who was it? Was it leftists that are just being, crazy and trying to frame people for a hate crime and pulling a juicy Smollett? Who knows, right? Anyway, with that, make sure you subscribe, like, and share our videos. Support us on Patreon, Venmo, and Cash App. And as always, stay classy, Seattle. All right, my name is Salim Juma with the Colored Conservatives. I'm standing here with
Emily.
Alex. Great, it's a pleasure to meet you guys. So today we're talking about the kind of viral meme that popped out about 3 or 4 days ago. There was these flyers posted all over Winchester, Massachusetts, and they said, "Islam is right about women." What do you guys think about that?
Who said that?
They were just like a bunch of flyers posted around, and it's become kind of like a meme thing.
And in Islam, women really don't have rights, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, yeah, especially in the Islamic world, Islamic governments, things like that.
I don't think that's fair. I think it's kind of bullshit.
Yeah. Do you guys think that's hate speech or free speech?
Hate speech.
Okay.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I think people have the freedom to speak, but I think when you are being saying that it's just Muslims, that's kind of one categorizing a group, and that's kind of racist. And
I feel it. Okay. Who do you think put up the flyers? There's 3 theories that are kind of floating around. 1, that it's the alt-right trying to kick blame over to the Muslims. 2, that it's the left trying to pull another juicy Smollett, which is my funny term for Jussie Smollett. And 3, that it's Muslims themselves that are just tired of societal degradation or pushing their values, whatever. I don't know. But those are the 3 theories that are kind of floating around right now. What do you guys think?
I don't know. What do you think?
I tend to not take sides, honestly.
Okay.
I would wait till they actually know who did it. You know what I mean?
See, that's
I'm
good.
not gonna go to just point someone.
No more social media outrage mobs just jumping on people. You did it. I don't have any objective proof, but you know what? We're going to ruin your life anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
What do y'all think about cancel culture and things like that?
What's that?
So that's when if you said a racist joke 10 years ago and they go back through your tweets and they're like, "Uh-oh, you said Asians are good at math." And then they destroy your life and get you fired.
I don't know. I don't think that's okay. Everyone goes through different stages of life. They end up, I don't know, doing bad things, saying stupid stuff. And
Is that a bad thing, though? I mean, stereotypical jokes were hilarious just 3 years ago?
See, okay, people.
Kevin Hart made the joke about some gay thing, right?
Yeah.
And then he got kicked off the host of being in the Emmys. Yeah. And that was a tweet 8 years ago.
Weeks later, he was like, "I love gay people. I have gay friends."
Yeah.
Well, okay, first of all, that's a cop-out. You can't say I have black friends or gay friends.
No, you're totally
but
right.
at the same time, if you want to say funny jokes about gay people or Muslims, like I'm Muslim myself, man. You want to talk, make funny jokes about them, you want to make funny jokes about black people. Personally, man, the way I look at it, like, at least make it funny, number one. And number two, like, if you're just doing it to be an asshole, there's a huge difference between being a comedian, going up on stage and being like, I don't know, Mind Mencia or Gabriel Iglesias or whatever, man. But if you're just doing it where you're like, fuck you, N-word, or something like that, and you're like, you can tell the difference, you know what I'm saying?
Trying to be funny,
but
like the context.
outrage culture has gotten to the point where, like, let's fry you because of something you said 10 years ago. Isn't that, like, objectively a little bit ridiculous?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, that's what I was saying.
I think people can change, but still, like, if you made comments 10 years ago, although that may not be who you are anymore, if you thought it was okay 10 years ago, like, what about you thought that was okay?
And then my last question for you is kind of like, do you think Islamic values are, can they work with like Western secularism? So for instance, feminism, homosexuality, gay rights, women's rights, all of these things. Do you think that conservative Islamic beliefs that are, from like Saudi Arabia or Iran, do you think that they can like work together side by side? Because we have a lot of people in the left, especially in the media, that are saying, well, no, it's totally fine. Muslims, totally fine. We don't have to question these beliefs. But a lot of people on the right are pointing out that some of those beliefs may not necessarily coincide with your own. And not only that, maybe objectively a little bit against your own beliefs. What do you guys think? And that's not a baiting question, by the way. It's just your opinions. That's all we care about.
Like how like Muslims' beliefs would kind of fit into like American culture?
Yeah, like can their conservative Islamic beliefs fit in with American culture, especially if they haven't like assimilated? So for instance, Syrian refugees that are coming over, people from the Middle East, refugees with their current beliefs not technically assimilating. And we've kind of seen that in Europe right now.
I'd say, I don't know, like America at this point it's a melting pot. It always has been.
Sure.
Why not? I mean, it's kind of up to them, up to their own preference. I mean, there's a lot of people that, say they're other religions or do other things that don't match up with other people, but they still live in America and they still, go on with their lives.
Okay.
I got you. I think it's based on how that individual feels. Like when they're coming over, if they want that.
Unless it was something like illegal. If it was like illegal, then I'd be like, okay.
I will say you've seen a rise in acid attacks and revenge honor killings ever since you've seen a big influx of refugees, not only in the States, but also in places like England and Germany and Switzerland. Sorry, Sweden. I always get those two countries confused. But I don't know, that's kind of like what I'm wondering. And then I'm sorry, I have one last question. I think my kind of final thought on this is I've actually seen videos that are posted where you see Muslim people coming out and just being very verbally abusive to like gay people, for instance, especially when they're doing like the pride thing and flying the rainbow flag, whatever. When Christians do the same thing, especially in places where there are hate speech laws like Canada or Australia or England, they get arrested. When I was in Toronto, there was a preacher who went to a certain district of Canada in Toronto and was just talking about God and being pro-life or whatever, Christian stuff. He got arrested, actually arrested, but
For speaking negatively against it, for having his own beliefs.
yeah, but for Muslim people, number one, it's okay. I don't believe in hate speech laws in the first place, but I do think it's a massive double standard that it's okay when Muslim people do it, but when Christians do it, it's like, hold on, we're gonna fry you. Where you work, let's get you fired from there. So I just think it's kind of weird, and it's like, if we're gonna look at, equality and stuff like that, why don't we have the same standards for all people,
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I don't mean, that's why I don't like the hate speech thing, and you kind of brought it up at the beginning. Yeah. You could really take anything as hate speech. It depends on
anything that's
the type of person.
Offensive.
Yeah, you could be like, oh, that really hurt my feelings, but it's just like a normal joke. So I mean, there's a lot of radical stuff that could happen if, I don't know.
I think it's okay to have your beliefs and your opinion, but I think it's more important to be kind and have empathy towards others.
Absolutely. Yeah, but people should also have the right to say things. I mean, do you know about the Jordan Peterson thing that happened, where he refused to use people's preferred pronouns? And he was just like, I just don't want it legislated. Nobody ever asked him if he would actually use people's pronouns if asked, but they tried to legislate it where it was misgendering and it was a hate crime. Yeah. So if you identify as a woman, and in Canada, you don't have to dress like a woman or anything. You can just identify as one. I can flip-flop genders on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If you don't remember, that's a problem.
Yeah, me and my friends talked about that once. We were like, think about going to jail just because you accidentally called someone a he or she, or
And it has happened in England. People have been arrested for misgendering.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a common mistake. I mean, you could think people that think they're women look like men, and I mean, yeah, you look like an ass when you do it, but you shouldn't go to jail or anything for that.
So there's a new viral meme craze that's There's a new kind of viral meme that popped up off these flyers that just kind of came up in Winchester, Massachusetts. Somebody put up flyers all around town that said, Islam is right about women. And everybody's trying to figure out where the meme is coming from, who put up the flyers. Some people are calling it hate speech. I think first things first, do you consider that like free speech or hate speech?
I consider it a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I consider
So
it
it's
both.
mean, it's douchey, but it should be allowed.
I mean, people can say whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
But I do think it's a little douchey. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah. Do you think that like conservative Islamic beliefs are like can kind of work with secular Western society? Do you think that can kind of work, especially with like feminism and things like that?
I think they can improve on it. I don't. Yeah. I mean, I just think that it's just. I don't really think they go together. I mean, honestly.
I'm Muslim myself. I can tell you that they really don't.
They don't go together, and I think that it's kind of like making it. If we were to try to, adapt to that, it's like us taking a step back because women have, tried to, fight so hard for their rights, and standing behind somebody and doing all that. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little bit.
So how do we kind of fix that? I mean, we're having a lot of people, especially with like the Syrian refugee crisis, that's also happening in Europe. We're kind of influxed with all these people that are coming over, and they have not changed their objective beliefs. How are we going to fix that? How are they going to assimilate to society?
I think that if that's what you believe, and in the privacy of your own home or whatever, you can do whatever you want. But whenever you're dealing with a lot of people and, words hurt, feelings are involved, I think that people should kind of be a little bit more open-minded and kind of adapt also to, how we are in Western society.
Yeah, I could kind of roll with that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, who do you think put those flyers up? There's actually a couple different theories. So there's theories that it was the alt-right, so far-right people trying to like blame Muslims and push the blame on them. There's a theory that it's the left trying to pull another Jussie Smollett, which is my funny word for Jussie Smollett. Okay. And then there's the theory that it's just like strong Muslims and Islamists in general that are just tired of like societal degradation and degeneracy or whatever. Who do you think did it?
I really couldn't say because all of those sound like it could have been. Yeah, I think you've thought about it a little bit more than I have, but
So what do you?
Coming from somewhere.
Let me ask you something. How do you align politically?
Well, you know what? I deal a lot with social media, and I have a lot of people that come from the right and the left. So I always say this. I don't support the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. I just support parties.
I'm with that. We should have more parties. Stop screaming at each other, folks. So what we're talking about today is there's this new viral meme that kind of popped out a few days ago. So in Winchester, Massachusetts, there was a bunch of flyers put up all around the city, and it said, "Islam is right about women." And now it's become like kind of a meme thing, and people are all freaking out about it. Some people are calling it hate speech. Some people are like, oh, it's the alt-right trying to frame people. Some people are like, Islamists are just tired of social degeneracy. Some people are like, it's the leftists trying to pull another Jussie Smollett. You know Jussie Smollett? Okay, so we call him Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett. What do you think about that phrase and the meme that's kind of coming off it? Islam is right about women.
I mean, it's kind of contradiction for what America is trying to achieve, but yet a lot of these people with these beliefs just come here with the same beliefs. Although we still appreciate everybody's beliefs in America, we aren't really for those type of things here, which contradicts why, which kind of contradicts why we're trying to do the things that we're doing here, and it's very frustrating, the progression that we're trying to make here, you know? It's very confusing situation.
Do you think Islam and progressive beliefs and like feminism are contradictory to each other?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And do you think that people are coming over here with those same beliefs and then being like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's very weird. It's a very weird situation.
Because I'm Muslim myself, and I can tell you my beliefs, like the Islamic religion definitely contradicts Western secularism and feminism.
I do appreciate the discipline. Some people need more discipline than others.
Yeah. I feel it. Let me ask you about this. Let me ask you about like kind of like societal degradation. We kind of gotten to a point where morality is not kind of valued anymore. Religious beliefs are not valued anymore. Everybody's kind of on the part of this like hookup culture and everything like that. Do you think that's kind of like causing problems in our society?
Well, some people have more things than others, and the people that have more things than others have to sacrifice their they have to sacrifice their morality, being that the people who really need those things, they sacrifice their emotions emotionally too, which creates a very it creates a big disparity between people. I've seen people sacrifice their body just to, get the things that they need, and it's very sad,
Well, there's some of them that do it for the things that they need, like streetwalkers. Some people are in prostitution because they have to survive, and then you have premium Snapchat thoughts that are just doing it so they can have sugar daddies and make money.
And then also they have these hotels that take money, but they're not doing it for the right benefits. They're doing it just to make prostitution a little easier for people.
Yeah.
For like the illegal immigrants. So I really support the people who aren't doing those things.
Wouldn't that make it easier for like human trafficking and shit too?
Definitely.
Yeah. And that's a big problem I have with all this like legitimized sex workers and everything. That makes it really easy for human traffickers to get in and be like, oh nope, they're just sex workers, guys. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do we fix that shit?
I think a lot of hotels shouldn't be able to have credit cards. But it's kind of contradiction being that they have a lot of illegal immigrants who can't get credit cards. So they have to get money under the table, Yeah. It's a very delicate situation to talk about, but a lot of people have to talk about it, speak about that thing.
We gotta talk about more stuff more often, man.
I'm an icon, man. I'm a girl about a 10. I should fuck her in a Benz.